My name is Tanya Finchum, along with Alex Bishop. We're with Oklahoma State University, and today we're in Stuart, Oklahoma, to speak with Mattie Brooks, and this is part of our 100-year life project, so thank you for having us today.
Thank you.
Let's start with having you tell us when and where you were born.
I was born in Cornwall on December the 9th.
What year? What year?
In 1911, wasn't it?
So you have a
1911.
birthday coming up. What did you do for your 100th birthday?
Well, they gave me a big party.
Did they? Did you ever think you would live to 100?
No,
What did your parents do for a living?
farm mostly. Run a store sometimes, but mostly a farm.
Around here?
The Stuart, around Stuart.
What did they farm?
There's corn, cotton, there's some feed stuff and hay.
Did you have to help?
Well, no, I didn't like to hold that cotton. But I did.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I had 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Were you in the middle?
No, I'm the baby.
You're the baby. Are you the first one to live to 100? Are you?
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
Well, I went to, most of my schooling was at White Chimney Country School. And I went to Stuart a little bit.
How far did you get?
8th grade.
8th grade. At the little school, was it a one room?
No, it was 2 rooms.
How did you get there?
Walked
And how far?
about 2 miles.
One way? Wow. Even in the snow?
No, they didn't go if it's snow. They told school out for snow.
Tell us a little bit about the house you grew up in.
Well, different ones, mostly just a regular farm. About some of them, one of them was had 2. One of them we just had about 4 big rooms. And when I was born, I think we just had 2 rooms. And then we finally built our own house with 6 rooms.
How was the house heated? How was it heated?
Wood.
Wood.
Mostly.
Indoor plumbing?
One year we had coal
Coal.
sometimes, and then we finally got gas.
Okay. Well, when you were younger, did you have running water?
No, not part-time we did. We didn't for when I was growing up. We had, well, we first had, they dug a cistern, my daddy did, and then we moved to another place, and that had a cistern, and he drilled a well, so we'd have plenty of water.
Had to pump?
No, drawed it with a rope.
Oh, with a bucket.
Rope. Drawed it up out of the well with our rope on a bucket with our hands.
And how would you do bath time?
And then we bathed in a wash tub. But we finally got running water out in the country and electric lights, electricity. But when I was growing up, we didn't.
Do you remember your first electricity?
Yeah.
Do you? What was the first thing your mother did?
Well, my mother wasn't living time we got electricity out here in the country.
Okay.
Was she married? When she got?
We lived after we married, we lived in California part of the time, of course. Then we lived in town and had all the utilities.
So when did you move to California?
And what year did we move?
I think you said 32. Leroy was about 4, is that right? Is that right?
I think so.
So about
I'm
1932.
not sure. I forget
that right, Ben?
half I never knew.
Can you edit?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Leroy start school in California?
Yeah.
He had not gone to school here.
Mm.
So he was about 4, I think you told me.
Yeah.
So that would be 1932, early 33, somewhere.
Around the Depression time. During the Depression. The Depression. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was kind of hard, but we made it.
How did your parents make it?
Well, parents died. My mother, I don't know what year did she die, do you remember? Anyway, and my father,
Were they alive when you went to California? Were they still living?
yeah,
Yeah. So how did they make it through the Depression?
all
Did they live with Collins, or did they live with Collins? What did they do during the Depression when you were in California?
Well, what did we do?
No, Mama and Papa.
Oh, they lived back here, Mama. Papa, they lived on the farm, and they both got old enough to draw a pension, and so they made it.
In the 50s.
So how did you meet your husband?
Well, we went to school together. Well, the first time I met him, his daddy was a preacher, and he come to down there by Stuart to hold a meeting, and I got acquainted with him. The family come with him when he come to preach, and I met him then we went to school together.
And got married when?
When I was 16.
When you were 16. So 2011, 27, 1927. Do my math.
Actually, early 28.
I brought
20.
copies
Yeah.
of marriage stuff. So.
Yeah.
Too young, but we made it.
And how many children?
2
Two. Boy and a girl, or two?
boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl.
They're both gone.
Well, did you work?
I didn't work.
You were-
Oh, I'll cut grapes.
Yeah, that's in California.
My husband was a carpenter. But when we was in California, I cut grapes.
What part of California did you move to?
What part of California?
San Bernardino.
Tell her, if she has time, tell her how much you got paid for cutting grapes
We had
and about your
paper.
coat.
We had a big square box of it about this big and about this deep. And we got paid 4 cents a piece for each of them filling box. You got 4 cents out of it. And if you got the quota that what they had set for you to get, why they give you a extra, 8-cent extra. And that we cut grapes to get 4 cents a box.
Yeah. And how much was the bonus? How much was the bonus?
Was 2 cents a box.
And you cut enough and saved up enough to do
And
what?
I got enough to get me a coat.
On their bonuses.
Hard work. Easier than picking cotton?
Yeah, we picked cotton.
Was the grapes easier than cotton?
As grape, I'd rather cut grapes just to pick the cotton. But we got the grapes cut, well then we got cotton and come on and we got that. We get the grapes cut. We cut grapes till we get this fella that owned this big patch, and then we'd have to go another. And when we got getting no grapes, we picked cotton.
What took you to California to begin with?
San Bernardino.
No, why did you go?
Because his family went out there. My husband's family went out there, and they got after him to come out there, so we went.
How long did you stay?
About 4 years. I went in about 4 years.
Yes, Brenda says yes.
About 4 or 5 years. Anyway,
Long enough, huh?
How'd you get there? By car, train?
okay.
How did you get out there?
Oh, we taken their car. We had a car. We taken it out there. Good with it. But we decided we wanted to come home.
Did they call you Okie?
Oh yeah, I guess they did. We didn't care.
We didn't care.
Did- Can,
Go ahead.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
where you lived, in the area where you lived, were there a lot of Okies out there?
Oh yeah.
A
there
big
was
community
we
of
lived
you?
San Bernardino.
And it was a lot of Okies out
Yeah.
there. So you
Yeah, there was lots of.
kind of banded together, I guess. That's what I've always heard.
Was it hard to find work?
Well, no, not really. But sometimes they get pretty tight.
Was your husband in World War II?
Uh,
Was your husband in World War II?
no,
Did he go to war?
no,
No. He missed that.
yeah.
Who did? Who did?
Who missed it?
Who went?
Uh,
Your brother Collins.
Collins, my brother went.
Did he?
Yeah, he had to go. But my husband didn't, because he had family and had 2 kids.
Okay. So when you came back to Oklahoma, what did you do?
Farm.
Your husband too? Farmed, what did you farm?
He's carpenter. He was had a small shop, but he done carpenter work when he didn't need to be in the field.
What did you raise?
Cotton, corn,
Again?
feed, and we raised some peanuts.
Where would you take that to sell it?
Well, there was they got a federal contract, didn't come to the field and
Oh, they came
got
out.
it.
Stuart, have a gin.
Well, when you were younger, did you have chores?
How was
Chores?
Well, yes and no. We wasn't. Our parents wasn't too strict on us. Only we knowed we had to carry in the wood to make a fire in the wintertime, put it on porch. Just really, we just done little chores like that. Maybe gathering eggs and had to keep the yard clean and stuff like that.
Well, how did your mother do laundry?
With a rubboard most. Oh no, rubboard when I was growing up.
Skin your knuckles.
So we finally got the machine, the washing machines, but Mama never did. She died before we got them.
So wash them on the rub board and then hang them on the line? Would she kill the chickens or would your father?
They
Who killed the chickens?
killed chickens. My mother done most of it. My father was a farmer and he worked in the field, but now he didn't do much around the house. Because I had a brother and I had a sister and 2 brothers older than me. And they helped her do dishes and stuff like that.
Something that today's generation might find very unusual, and she's having trouble with it with our
had-
lifestyle, is that they did not eat dinner until Papa came in from the field.
So dark.
Dark 30.
Mama had a wood cook stove and
Does your family wait on you every
us kids had to, me and my brother just older than me had to carry the wood in the house for her to cook with. See that she had cookwood in the house. My daddy and older brother would saw it up, saw the trees down and put the sticks of stone wood that big and just logs. They wasn't no bigger about like that. And of course, about this long the sticks was. And Mama had a box behind the stove that she put her stuff wood. We put the wood in this box for her to put in the stove.
Would it keep you warm through the night?
Well, at night, we just had cover. We put enough quilts on our bed to keep us warm.
Still does.
So your mother quilted? Mm-hmm. And did she teach you? Where would she have to get her fabric?
Hey.
Where would she get her material?
Mostly scraps from where she made our clothes.
Did she use feed sacks?
Feed sacks for the lining.
So when you were going to school, did she make your school clothes?
We just made our school clothes. She made all of our clothes.
And how often would you get shoes?
We bought shoes.
But how often?
Just whenever we needed them. We buy high top shoes in the wintertime. Slippers in the summertime. And we're barefooted at home.
What were you going to say?
Your mama would send after muslin to make your undergarments,
Yeah,
didn't she?
she'd buy muslin to make our underclothes.
Did she have a pattern?
No,
Nope.
she just used our she might have had first, but she just most usually used our old clothes to make them a little bit bigger than what every time as we got bigger, she'd get a little bigger on the clothes.
Did she do it by hand or did she have a
She
machine?
had a machine.
A machine. The pedal, trundle, whatever they call those.
Treadle.
Yeah, she had a pedal machine. We drawed water out of a well. Well, when we first I remember, we just had a cistern when I was just little. And I could run off the house and caught the water in. And then after we left that place, we had a well.
Do you have a horse and buggy or wagon? Go by wagon?
And we had a wagon and the team Papa had 2 teams too, so the boys could help him in the field. He had 4 horses, 2 mules and 2 horses. As they rode the horses,
No tractor.
no tractor.
Did the horses have names?
My daddy didn't live long enough to use a tractor. He
Okay.
never did have a tractor. My brother had a tractor, but my daddy never had one.
Well, the team that he used, did they have names?
They had, I forgot their names, but he
They
had
had-
teams. He had 2 teams, 4 horses, had 2, had 2. First he had them all was horses, and then he finally got some mules for the farm.
With all that work, what did you do for fun?
Yeah, what?
What did you do for fun?
Well, everybody seemed to be healthy and happy. We didn't know no better than but just
What did you play? What did the kids do for
all
fun?
corn, cotton, cane, feed, and
No. What did y'all play when you were kids and growing up? What did y'all do for fun?
oh well, we just played hopscotch and hide and seek and just what all kids played.
Did you have a pet?
I have
A pet?
cats and dogs.
Cat. A favorite one? Did you?
Well, some of them was kind of bad. They didn't want us to play with them, and some of them didn't care.
What were holidays like in your house?
What were the holidays like?
Well, they
Like,
just
Christmas
they
coming.
had Mama cook us a extra dinner for our holidays, for a holiday dinner.
Fancier?
Yeah, she'd bake us a cake or do a little extra, just like we do now.
Did you put up a tree?
On Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a tree.
How did you decorate it?
We did.
How did y'all decorate it?
Well, mostly we painted paper on and different colors and made a chain out of it. I split it apart where you give out that white, and then we paste up, make a chain out of it, and take that, wrap it around a tree.
What were your gifts? What kind of gift did you get?
Well, just mostly clothes, but we get one net or two toys. Collins would get, the boys would get trains, and us girls would get dolls. Most, that was our main,
Yeah.
main gifts.
Did you ever get any fruit?
And fruit. Yeah, we had fruit. Papa had fruit trees, but then when they didn't bear, well, we'd have fruit for Christmas, yeah.
What was your favorite?
Apples and oranges is mostly good for
She
Christmas.
likes fruit. Good. I'm sorry, Tanya.
It's okay.
One
Go
thing
to it.
prompts another. How old were you the first time you remember going to McAllister?
I was about 5 years old.
Yeah. And how did y'all go?
We went in a wagon.
And why did you go?
So Mama and her brother was going to have their teeth fixed, teeth pulled. He didn't feel them or anything then back then. We just used them till it got to hurting, and then they'd have false teeth. Just like me.
So tell them about that trip, how you went to town and where you stayed and everything.
Well, we went down there in a wagon. They had a covered wagon. And we went down there in a wagon. They had a wagon yard to put the team and that in. And they had a kind of like a hotel, only it wasn't very big. But anyway, where we could sleep, And we stayed down there one night. And then on the way home, it started raining. And Papa had a wagon sheet over the wagon, and my mother and her brother, they put them back in under this cover because they'd had their teeth pulled and they didn't want to get wet, and put us kids up in the seats of the spring seats of the wagon. And so then we went to town and took in a wagon from Stuart to Holdenville. To McAllister.
How long would that take
It'd take nearly a day.
to get there?
Uh,
Wow.
Now it's 30 minutes from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you telling us about your father owned a meat market.
Anyway,
Was that right?
Would you tell Tanya the story about your papa owning the meat market and what happened there in Stuart when y'all were living in town at that time?
Papa decided he wanted to move to town, and this guy got after him to put in a meat market. There's a grocery store, but had a meat market too. He's the only one that had it's a kind, we call it a cooler, but where they put the meat in there and put ice in it. There wasn't no electricity, but it was ice, the way they put it in there. And he always stayed open at night till everybody got ready till the farmers all left, and whenever about 5, well, usually closed about 6 o'clock. And they had 2 banks there at McAllister, but he just traded with this one, put all the money in one bank, and he'd stay open till everybody got through shopping. And he'd take his money then down, what he got out of the store, and bank it. And the bank would stay open for, I don't know, I was just a kid. But anyway, he stayed open one day, and a little bit later than what he usually did, but the bank was still know that he hadn't closed up. And when he went down there, they had closed up. Well, though they stayed open till he banked his money. They waited on him because they knew he was coming. And they stayed open late because he was a little bit late coming in. And got his money, and they didn't open up. So he lost everything we had.
The next day they didn't open.
I think knew when they stand open they wasn't going to open, but they wanted to get his money. And so he had to close the store then, and we moved back to the farm.
Lost his business. Yeah, they knew they weren't going to open the next morning. They could have said, Mr. Watkins, hang on to your money.
So
It was probably maybe
my daddy just
$2 at the most.
had a lot of trouble over that.
A lot of heartache over that, wasn't there?
I just, well, he assured him he got all it, everything. Because he'd buy stock and he'd sell it and then he'd pay for it. He'd buy them, then they'd let him do that. Well, he had his stock sold and he couldn't pay they stayed and got the money out of the stock, and then he was going to pay it for it the next day, but they didn't open up. He like lost his mind over it. He sure did worry about it, because he always paid his debt.
I bet he finally got them paid off though, didn't he? He finally got them paid off though, didn't
Yeah, I got it finally. I don't know what he done, but he done some outside work. He finally got it paid for.
Would that have been in the 20s?
Mm-hmm.
Around in there?
he? Well,
If she was little.
about
so
10, so 21.
Early 20s.
Now, did you ever have any cattle?
Oh yeah, not very many. Well, Mama milked 2 or 3 cows and sold the milk before our Papa take them milk and butter and eggs to town and go to the grocery store and they'd take the eggs and money and he'd buy the groceries with us. Eggs and money is the way we got our living mostly. And Mama had geese and we had chickens and all. Yeah, we had stock.
What did you use the geese for?
Huh.
What did she do with the geese?
She picked them, made for the beds.
Wow.
A feather bed.
I still got mine. She made me one, made my sister one. And
What-
I still got mine.
Wouldn't it get lumpy?
No, if you could keep them, you could.
Shake them.
They would be lumpy if you didn't smooth the feathers in them, but you could. It wasn't bad. You could smooth the feathers.
Smooth the ruffled feathers.
She made made me and my sister both a feather bed for when we married. She gave us a feather bed.
How would she make the cover for it?
Well, she just got that. Well, I had bed what they call bed ticking, and kind of like
Almost like canvas, isn't it?
canvas or something, a little heavier than canvas, and she made pick the geese until she got enough to put that bed. She made a bed. Well, I call it a pad to put the feathers in. I call it a mattress, but it's bed. But it's bed like a big sack or big, and then big as a bed. But
It'd have to be a pretty big needle.
yeah.
Did it?
That wasn't very big. It was just cause she'd sew it up on the machine and then just like a flour sack.
Yeah. And then stuff
Oh,
it.
it was bigger.
Did it smell different? Did it smell different
No,
with the feathers?
she dried the feathers real dry before she put them in there, of course. And then ever so often she put the bed outside and let it sun in the sunshine.
She knew how to do it.
Yeah, I still, I don't know what my sister done with hers, but I've still got mine.
You sleep on it now?
No, but I've still got my bed.
It's the one with, I'll get some back with you.
In the back vision.
I'm not sure exactly.
Well, on very hot days, would you sleep outside?
No, we slept on porch.
On the porch.
No, I had an aunt and uncle to put their bed outside, out in the yard. Lived out in the country, and they just put it outside of the house. We'd be in the shade in the afternoon, and
Cans of water so that the ants can't.
and then but Mama and them never did sleep out. We just raised the windows and sleep. We didn't have no electricity or fans or anything.
No.
But sometimes it got pretty hot.
Let me bring you a chair.
Did Stuart have an ice plant?
Yeah, that's the bank.
Okay.
It's down they have one. You could buy ice, but we didn't have no way to keep ice.
Didn't have an ice box? So no ice cream.
Well, we made homemade ice cream. Papa buy the ice and bring it home, and then take a bunch of cotton sacks and wrap it up in these cotton sacks, and then bring it home, and so it wouldn't melt. And then we'd have my homemade ice cream. Not very often, but we did have some.
Tell Tanya about the time your dad and the boys went to Stuart and Collins got an ice cream.
Well, Papa and the boys went to town every Saturday nearly, and my brother just older than me, he come home one day and he said he had ice cream. I said, ice cream cone, he said, and I thought he said a cone. I said, well, what did you do with it? He said, he ate it. I said, why'd you bring me some? He said, well, it did all melt. We had to eat it. And I said, well, why'd you bring me the comb? He said, oh, it wasn't a comb, it was a cone.
And he ate it too. Did you notice Papa and the boys went to town?
Did you not get to go to town with them ever?
No, my mom would take us girls to town and get her clothes. She made our clothes. We'd get her shoes and our winter clothes. And she'd take us to town to buy our shoes and stuff because we had to fit them. And
How often did you go? How often did you
we went about twice a year. She went to get her clothes, summer clothes, and her winter clothes in. So we just went, us and her girls and Mama. Well, Mama never did like to go to town. And Papa, of course, he took the boys, but we didn't take us girls.
Did you ever go to the theater? Did you ever go to a local theater?
We didn't have no theaters when I was first growing up, but afterwards we got a little older and we did some.
Well, what was the first movie you ever saw?
I don't remember. That's been too long.
She probably couldn't tell you the last one she went to. Yeah, Stuart had a movie theater.
That's right.
When you were younger, right?
Yeah.
Next generation now.
Was church a very important part of your life?
We went to church. We didn't have much church only in daytime because everybody had a team and most had to go in the wagon.
Dangerous.
And we went every Sunday.
Methodist, Baptist, what?
Church of Christ.
Church of Christ.
Her father-in-law was a Church of Christ preacher, right? Her grandfather-in-law. Carl's dad was a Church of Christ preacher.
Ah,
Carl's dad was a Church of Christ
yeah.
minister.
My husband was, his daddy preached to us, is how we got acquainted.
Did he marry you?
Yes.
Did-
That Grandpa Brooks.
Did Grandpa Brooks marry you and Carl, or did y'all go somewhere else?
No, we didn't.
Y'all went to Calvin and got married, didn't you? I forgot. No.
They eloped?
You eloped, didn't you?
No, they know we was going.
Oh, they knew you were going? Okay. I wasn't sure.
Tried to talk us out of it, but
Oh.
she didn't.
Well, you were 16. I just can't imagine that granddaughter, 13, 3 years. No way she'll be ready to get married. But my grandmother was 15 and her oldest daughter was 14.
Well, just a
And they
different
ran a
time.
household,
Just
yeah.
I
different
was
time.
just 16, but anyway, we made it.
How many years when he passed?
Well, let's see. I don't.
He passed in 73.
Huh.
He died in 73. Carl did. It's a lot of years.
Over 40 now.
Yeah.
He's close to.
Yeah. Long altogether.
Well, wish we was together a long time.
Yeah.
The kids was partly grown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what's a typical day like for you at 100? What's a typical day like for you today at 102?
Right.
What is your day like today? What do you do every day?
Today now?
Yeah, nowadays.
Sit.
Talking.
Just sit. She can't do that. She gets bored to death.
What time do you?
Sit and sleep.
I'll ask her what time she gets up.
What time do you get up and what time do you go to bed?
Well, I go to bed anywhere from 7 to 8, usually. And I get up at about 6 and between 6 and 7, mostly every morning.
Yeah. When I roll myself up.
Do you have do you have a morning ritual or a bedtime ritual?
Do you have something you do every morning when you get up?
Wait till she.
I don't do nothing. I don't do nothing but put my clothes on.
Well, tell him what we do when we get up.
Eat?
Eat.
No, we don't eat when I first get up.
Well, I come in and put your hearing aids
And put my
in.
hearing aids in, and then we drink coffee and
Sit.
She has to wait an hour before she can eat.
Yeah, she takes medication. And then after you eat breakfast, you go get dressed and then
sit.
sit. Yeah, yeah. That's the most aggravating thing to her. She can't do.
I will try to walk enough to keep enough exercise, keep limbered up. But anyway, I don't do nothing. I can't do nothing. I can't even pick up I can't straighten my fingers.
Do you ever get to take care of the great grandkids, or the great grandchildren?
Well, some,
Yeah.
Yeah, she has.
She enjoyed them, yes.
Yes.
not very much.
When they couldn't come, she'd say, what are we going to do for
When
entertainment today?
When the little boys were still here, before the boys started to school, what did you and them do in the living room a lot?
Why?
You played basketball a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have their little tykes ball goal. They'll run, and they call her Matt, and they'll run and take her a ball, and they've got one, and they'll say, shoot, Matt, so she'll shoot the ball, she'll
Your
play
turn.
basketball, it's your turn.
Now, did you ever have a favorite sport growing up?
Have what?
Favorite sport?
Yeah, basketball. I love to play basketball.
Did you play in school?
I played them school, and I didn't care about baseball. I never could hit that ball. But I did like to play basketball.
What did she?
What would you wear? What would you wear when you played basketball?
We had the suits. We had pants and a shirt that the school, you know, to play. That all the time we wore them was to play ball. It was kind of a bloomer type. They had rubber in the band and more of a bloomer type. But we had our blouse.
Who made them?
Yeah.
Who made it?
Uh-huh.
Your mother made it? Did you have a number? Did it have a number on it?
I don't know if it had a number or not. I don't remember. But anyway, we did have suits. I call them bloomers because they had rubber in a bag.
Otherwise, you'd wear a dress
No,
to school?
Did you ever wear pants to school?
no, not hardly. If we were dressed to school, but we had our suits we changed after we got to school.
What was your favorite subject?
Well, I don't know why I had a favorite or not. I didn't care about any of them.
I didn't know that.
No, I liked to go to school. I enjoyed going to school. And I was lucky enough to get my grades, bring my grades up and keep them going.
Tell them about when it was time for decoration or Memorial Day. What did you kids have to do?
Well,
From
On
White Chimney
Saturday.
School to the White Chimney Cemetery.
on Saturday, we'd pick one day before decoration, a week before decoration. They'd pick one day, and they'd have us kids all to go to march over to the schoolhouse, just down the road, over to the church yard, and they had tools over there that we used, and we had to clean the cemetery. Us kids from school did. White Chimney Cemetery.
And when you say clean the cemetery, what did you have to do? How did you clean the cemetery? What all did you have to do?
We had to cut all of the grass that was in it and mound up every grave, make a mound on every grave. The old-fashioned way, you know.
Well, why did you make a mound?
I
Why?
don't know, because that's the way they wanted it.
Yeah, used to. They were mounted up
That's
there.
just like a
when
new
they
grave,
started
you know.
mowing.
I don't know about the town. They may not have been round up. Well, they don't over there anymore.
It's because they have to mow. But I think you told me one time not one blade of grass.
No, sir. Every blade of grass had to be cut for decoration day. The school kids marched over there and done it.
Teacher took them. And when there was a funeral, the White Chimney Cemetery had bleachers. And when there were seats, I guess it's bleachers, is that what you call them on them? Or pews, whatever. And when there was a funeral, it was usually a relative or a friend of a relative or whatever. And they'd let school out and take them over there to the funerals.
Back to the cemetery, didn't they take a broom or something and brush the tombstones?
But the people in the country never
Yeah.
thought about going cleaning the graves in because they know the school would.
Yeah. And you had to take a broom and sweep off the tombstones? Is that
No, we had to,
the stones, the
Oh.
headstones?
well, we cleaned them off. I don't know. I don't remember about. I guess they might. I don't know whether to clean them off with their hands or a bridal broom or what. I don't remember. But we round the graves up. But most of the markers was high. You know.
Yes, upright.
What were funerals like back then?
What were funerals like? Were they long? Were they short?
Well, They usually had the funeral there. They maybe last an hour singing and everything off, just for the funeral. But most of well, they wasn't very long.
Grandma, who was the first member of your family on the White Chimney Cemetery board? Was it Jasper?
Uh-huh.
And about what year would that have been?
Uh,
About what year would that?
oh, I don't know.
Were y'all little?
No, I was,
You and Jewel?
no. They didn't have nobody that no certain person to take care of them. Everybody did all volunteer work and they were,
Well, when did they make the board? When did they get the cemetery board?
well, they, I don't remember just when they made it, but they had a board up there, on the tree.
No. People, Uncle Jasper was on the board.
Oh, that kind of board. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember just when it was, but I was grown before they ever.
Oh, were you? Okay. Well,
They just the country, anybody that wanted to help with the cemetery helped, but I don't think there's anybody that was required to take care of it. They just,
see, it's a free cemetery.
just the community would.
But someone from your family has been on the board since
Yeah.
Jasper. Now, she's very proud of that fact.
Yeah,
My husband's on there.
My uncle was I was still in school when he.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
When he was taken
So it
over
was-
to see that the cemetery was taken care of.
And then it was Collins,
Yeah.
and then it was Jerry Dale,
Mhm.
and then Leroy and then Jerry Dale, and now Les.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something very important to her. In fact, she's made generous donations to get a fence put around it. My husband and a cousin built a fence around it. She didn't want those cows walking on her.
Was your mother and father from here?
Yeah, that's I think what her name was. Papa, I think, was born in Arkansas, and I think Mama was born in Cornwall. And I don't know how they met.
You never heard how they met?
Grandma, her mama was born in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And her daddy in Georgia.
In Georgia. They met
Then
in Arkansas.
they met in Arkansas and married in
And then
Arkansas.
moved over here. Transferred.
Because she went back and looked up the record.
Yeah. She got a cheat sheet over there, Grandma.
Neither they're growing up, neither. She went and got the record.
That's her interest, yes.
Did your grandparents live with you?
So what?
Did your grandparents ever live with you?
Did your grandma and grandpa ever live with you?
Oh, no.
Her mother and dad did.
Well, Papa lived with me some. My daddy did, but
Didn't your mother also for a while? Didn't your mama also live with you just before she died?
Mattie might
no,
have
she,
Or did you go to her house?
I was with her house.
Oh, okay. Grandma's taking care of a lot of people, but now it really bothers her for us to have to take care of her. She thinks it's a burden.
No. What was it like being a mother?
What was it like being a mother? What was it like raising your kids, being a mother?
No.
Did you raising your kids?
Oh, well, I don't know. But I think I done a pretty good job.
Now, you told us about the cookies this morning.
I didn't have too much trouble with them.
You,
Do you have any fond memories?
Since I raised on a farm. But
Do you have any fond memories? What's some things that you think about when Leroy and Mildred,
oh yeah,
what y'all did together or stuff? What?
there's several times the things that I don't know. Just I I always just tried to do what a mother should do, and
What should a mother do? What should a mother do? I'm not sure I got it right.
I don't do just see that they had plenty to eat more. It'll be the main thing.
Well, I got that part right.
She told us this morning
Yeah.
she'd never made oatmeal cookies.
And fix some cookies and
Plain cookies
yeah.
more
yeah,
molasses.
yeah.
Would you make cookies with them?
Oh yeah, they thought they had to have cookies.
Relax in that area.
What kind? What kind?
Oh, they want sugar cookies.
Not chocolate chip.
No, they wanted the sugar cookies. They liked sugar cookies the most. I did bake them some chocolate, but they weren't too crazy about chocolate.
Did you have a favorite dish that your mother fixed?
After my kids were
Well, I believe what my mother fixed for me that I liked best more than anything was chicken dumplings. And she raised her chickens, and we had chicken dumplings every once in a while.
How would she make her dumpling?
Well, she had to make her dough out of water, like a by dough or something. 'Cause my daddy did not want milk only in his bread when she could make bread with milk. But he didn't want bread, milk and nothing else. He wouldn't drink it, and he didn't want it in anything hardly, unless it'd be a custard. And as you know, Daddy got what he wanted most of the time.
That's the way it works, doesn't it?
If the kids don't overpower.
I always thought it was if Mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was Papa wasn't happy.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
But I don't know, but I can say that I had never heard my mother and Daddy have a what I call a quarrel.
That's good.
I've never heard them say hard words to either one of them.
That's a good deal.
What do you think is the secret to your long life?
What do you think is the secret to your long life?
I don't know.
She spends a lot of time wondering that.
I don't know.
Do you think you ate extra healthy? Do you think you exercised good, or do you think just
Well, I know I've had a lot of sickness, but I've had a lot of health too. But anyway, I've had some sickness. I had appendicitis and just different things.
Were you very sick as a child?
Well, when I was a child, I don't ever remember being sick. One time I remember when I had the measles.
What about the flu epidemic? You remember that?
Okay.
The flu epidemic?
do you remember the flu epidemic?
Oh yeah,
Is that 17?
we had the flu.
1918.
My grandpa lost his family in
As I say, I think I've forgotten more than I don't. More I know, they remembered. If I didn't want to remember anything, I tried to put down my mind to something that I didn't care about knowing or remembering.
that. Just blocked it out.
Well, what's your favorite decade that you have lived in?
Yes.
20s, the 30s, the 40s?
What was your favorite time? The The 1920s, the 1930s, the 1940s, the 50s.
I just took it as it come.
Just a pretty well satisfied person, I guess.
Anything left on your list you want to do?
Huh?
Anything left on your list that you want to do?
Not really. I just don't want to be sick a long time. When my time comes, I want it to be quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to be. Don't want to know.
That's right.
Well, when history is written, what do you want it to say about you?
What?
When history is finally written, what would you like it to say about you?
What do I want to?
You were a good woman.
Good
You
life.
had a good life. Raised a good family. You don't care. It's not going to matter to you, is it?
Of course, I didn't want to lose my family, but I knew that's something that you can't do nothing about. And it's whatever. I don't know. But I'm ready, I think. When my time comes, it may be tonight, it may be a month from now, and it may be years from now, I don't know. I don't know how it can be much longer.
Anything else you want to add before we shut off?
No?
No.
You had a story about her riding a cattle, right?
Oh, Malaya wanted, yeah.
I've never heard that story.
Juanita, do you remember? One time, Malaya's not here, but she wanted you to tell the story. Something about y'all were out, they were out at the lot working calves, and you came out there and they challenged you to ride a calf or something.
Oh,
Can you tell that story? Was that when Les and Brenda and Malaya and Wayne, were they all little?
Yeah, about 12
Yes.
probably.
Yeah. What were they doing?
they challenged me to ride one of the calves there, so I did. And
Did it hurt you?
no,
Well, how old were you?
How old were you then?
well, I was grown, married. That's when the kids was little.
Yeah, let's see. That'd have been in the 60s.
That's
She's
what kids
50,
is little.
probably 55, 56.
That's
You were
what-
about 55, somewhere around?
Yeah, something like that. There was kids thought it was funny because I did ride the calf. They was trying to ride the calves or something, and I made some remark about they didn't hold right or something. Well, let's see you ride it. And they dared me to ride it, and so I rode the calf.
I bet they fell out now.
I probably wasn't at
I
that
started to say, Brenda, you.
one. That's why I don't remember it.
She's not the
They were
outside one.
probably 10, 12 maybe.
Well, that's good. You showed them, didn't you?
Yeah.
They never questioned you again. Did Malaya said you and Aunt Mildred really are the ones that taught her how to fish, that you took them fishing a lot, did y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took them fishing out the pond.
yeah. Well, they thought that was an ocean.
Oh,
They thought that was the ocean, probably,
yeah.
going to the pond, especially that one on the back side. Yeah. Did you like fishing?
Yeah, I did. I liked fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had two big ponds and then a creek run through the place.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we fished in the creek. Most time I was over in the big pond.
I want you to tell them, what kind of meat did y'all have when you were younger? What kind of meat did y'all have to eat?
Squirrel mostly,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How come?
'cause we had a dog that just seemed me like every day when we'd sit down to eat, he'd go out there at the edge of we lived on the farm, and he'd go out in the pasture, those trees come up close to the house, and tree a squirrel. Well, my daddy'd go out there and kill it, and we'd have it for supper. And I got so tired of squirrel, I couldn't hardly stand it. And I still don't care about squirrel.
That's the secret.
Ate squirrel?
The squirrel, eating squirrel.
Eating squirrels kept you young.
She loves watching squirrels out here now.
Yes.
But my daddy loved squirrel, and that dog would have one about every other day anyway. Mom would cook squirrel. And I still don't like squirrel.
That wouldn't be very much to feed a family.
There's two of us girls and two boys.
Anything else you want to tell them?
What?
Anything else you want to tell them?
What?
Tell her what the first time you rode in a car.
Oh, I wasn't but about 9, 10 years old the first time I rode in a car. And that's when I lived at Stuart before the bank went road. And there's a guy that we all was as kids. I don't know what us kids was doing coming in walking down the road, but we'd been somewhere. And there was 3 of us, I remember. And as one of the boys, guy we knew had run a garage. He stopped and picked us kids up, and that's the first time I'd ever rode in a car.
You were how old when you rode in the car?
I think I must have been about 8 or 9 years old. Because that's when Papa had the store there in Stuart. And I was about maybe 9, 10 years old, so first time I ever rode in a car.
The first time you saw an airplane go over, did you already know what an airplane was? Had anybody ever?
Yeah, I knew what
Y'all read it
airplane
in the
was, and
yeah.
I'd seen the pictures of them.
Yeah. So it didn't scare you to death when you.
Yeah.
And then what did you say? Tell about the time the one landed at school.
Yeah, well,
When you got to see your first airplane and touch it at school.
yeah, he's there. The airplane that was he parked out in the schoolyard and let us kids all go out and see it. And he'd let you touch it. And do whatever you want to. So some of the boys come up in it, but we didn't ride in it. First plane I was ever around.
Have you ever been in an airplane?
Oh yeah, I rode an airplane, but I got bigger before I did.
Do you like flying? Not really.
Oh, I don't mind the flying, but I'd rather take a bus.
Yep. Did you take a bus very often? Did you ever get on the bus and ride to McAllister?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that's what people used to do.
Ride a bus every once in a while to go to McAllister.
Uh-huh.
That's always.
How far is McAllister from here?
From Stuart, it's 23 or 20, it's 20 miles.
20 miles.
Yeah, from the town of Stuart. Of course, it's 8 miles on out here, but of course, she lived just east of Stuart, her home. When you asked her address the other day, it dawned on me. She doesn't know the address here, but and she has a little trouble. They had just switched to Coyote Road whenever she got sick, so that was something. Go ahead.
There's television while you're on.
Oh. When's the first? Did you guys have a radio?
Y'all don't live right now. In the
At
bedroom.
yeah. When you were little, did y'all have a radio?
Oh, no.
Well, when's the first time you heard a radio? Where were you? Do you know? Over at town or in a store? Or did one of your friends have a radio?
I think one of my friends had a radio, the first one I heard.
Was that just amazing to you?
Yeah.
All right. Then what about television? When did you first see television?
I don't remember.
When did you and Carl first have a television?
I don't know.
Were Leroy and Mildred born?
Oh, yeah.
I won't remember.
Mattie, it was back when we lived on the creek, what we called the creek.
She said it's when they lived on the creek, y'all got a television.
When was that?
Back when probably about 50, 51, maybe 2, somewhere along in there. When y'all went to California that time. Because you gave us, or we bought it or something, your old TV is black and white. Our first one we got from y'all.
Yeah.
When
Cool.
we lived on the creek.
I told you I forgot more than I
Well,
remember.
that's all right. That's all right.
Well, before we shut off, let's talk a little bit about your quilts. Who taught you how to quilt?
When?
Your quilt, who taught you?
Her mother.
Who taught you how to quilt? Who showed you how to quilt?
Mama. Mama taught me how to quilt. When I wasn't very big, she let me help her quilt. My sister older than me, she'd let us quilt some. She didn't care much about us quilting in her quilts because she liked quilts quilted. But she did teach us how.
Do you remember making your first one?
No. I don't remember when I made my first one.
Did you do it by hand or on the sewing machine? By hand?
I done all my quilting by
Everyone.
hand.
Did you have the rack that came from the ceiling?
Yeah, I did for a while, and then I bought me a set that you put together that so makes just stand it up. It
The PVC
stands up
pipe.
on that. So and you can move it around.
Have any idea how many you may have made?
Huh.
No.
I have no idea.
A lot? Have a favorite pattern?
No, not really. But I just done it for pastime.
Make a sunbonnet Sue?
Yeah, I made that.
A wedding band, double wedding band? Double wedding band? Dutch doll?
Star, made that.
Made stars.
You don't have a favorite? You don't have a favorite one that you like to work on? A favorite
No.
pattern? What's the easiest pattern to work on?
Well, there's not much difference in them. You've just got to sew on top of that.
Yeah.
For you guys.
I'm supposed to be learning. She's
You
giving
put
me
them
the
in the
scraps.
frame and then it's just a kid.
But piecing the top together, which one's the easiest to piece together? That's the one I want to start on.
9 patch, I guess.
Yeah.
Squares, I guess.
Yeah. Tanya quilts. Don't you quilt? Yeah, she quilts.
My first one was a cathedral window.
Have you ever done a cathedral window?
Uh-huh.
Have you done the pattern cathedral window? No, that's not familiar.
You spend more time at the ironing board than you do sewing.
Yeah,
I
that's
never
not-
made one then.
You press and press and fold and press. Yeah.
I tried to put something easy.
My next one was.
I made a log cabin on the machine, on the sewing machine. Little strips sewn together.
And I pieced them by hand. I didn't piece them on the quilt, on the machine. Now, there's a lot of them pieces of them on the machine.
That's cheating, isn't it?
Did you ask how many stitches?
I done mine for pastimes, what I really done most of them for.
Did you show any of them at the county fair?
Yeah, Dad Stuart.
Oh, over at Stuart, you display them? Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you say how many stitches per inch when you're sewing a top together? Do you count how many stitches? Just get it together.
I just, maybe one of them maybe be a long one, next one be a short one.
You could rock your needle.
I just,
Yeah, I never did learn how to do that.
And she did have a really good leather guard with thimble in the end of it, and it wore out, and we've tried to find her one, but of course her fingers had changed, and she can't find one to suit her, or she can't do it.
I had to do something, I'd have could just sit still and do nothing.
Right.
This is so
So-
hard.
I put in a lot of my time quilting, piecing quilts and quilting. That was my pastime.
Did you ever raffle any off at the church or community events?
Never.
Did you ever donate any to be raffled off for fundraiser?
No,
The church, or
I give them away.
all of us have got at least two apiece.
Give everybody
And-
I tried
Our
to piece all the
children.
kids one,
and grandkids.
And grandchildren
grandchildren.
and great grandchildren have some. Now she also crocheted,
I brought some of those too.
and
And every,
my
I quilted enough to like when the kids would get married for the shower, I'd always give them a quilt. The grandkids.
and the two girls that were here have Afghans that my daughter brought them home in that she had done, but her hands got bad and the others have not. Brenda has a new baby. Well, she'll be a year old next week.
Next week.
And they didn't get to have one,
But the last quilt that I started, Dorley had to finish it. I couldn't, my hands got to where they wouldn't, I just couldn't stand it.
yeah, just hurt too bad.
Did you have a large garden and do a lot of canning? Did you?
I had a garden. Did you say garden?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
I sure
canned?
miss my garden too. I love to work in the garden.
This summer, before she turned 100, my husband would go over.
I like to be outside. Mow the lawn, and the garden and all. So
But my husband would go over to check cattle, and she'd say, "Come start my tiller." And so he would go, because she couldn't pull it. He'd start it, and he'd take it down to see if it was working okay, and come back.
No.
And she'd say, "This is my business. You go tend to your business."
and when I was growing up, Mama made us sweep the lawn.
I'm not sure what that
We
is.
had a bunch of chickens and feathers and stuff, so every week we had to get us her old broom or take a bunch of what is it them that you make
Broomstick.
my name of what is it we may make
Corn shucks?
Huh?
Corn shucks?
No,
No.
it's braid. It's a little
Broomstick
I
grass.
don't know what kind of, but anyway you could cut the an oak. Maybe it's some kind of a bush that you cut.
Willow?
Yeah, maybe something to make a broom out of.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But anyway, we'd get out and cut some limbs and make what we call a brush broom. And that's what we swept the lawn with when I was little.
Clean as a whistle.
Well, you had to clean up. This is what we swept the lawn with.
I didn't have people that did that. Oh, yeah.
Swept the lawn.
My dad's mother, her yard looked like that right there.
So it's all dirt, no grass?
All dirt.
Yeah, your mom made us. She helped us, but us girls swept the lawn every week. Us and Mama. That lawn had to be swept.
Otherwise, you would have to let cattle or horses in to graze it. Well, then you got to clean up after them, see?
Yep, before lawnmowers.
Before lawnmowers, even the rotary.
And that's
For the
true.
Rotary.
Picking up the feces and
Yeah.
Did you belong to a homemaker club?
Yeah.
A homemaker club? Home demonstration club? Whatever.
Did you ever belong to the home extension club?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
for a while.
Where y'all get together and trade recipes and get lessons from OSU Extension?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
were you a, that's something we didn't ask, is were you a good cook?
Were you a good cook?
Don't ask.
No,
Say
they
yes.
ate it.
Did you have a favorite recipe?
Yeah, I use recipes.
What was your favorite thing to make?
I
Cookies or
don't know.
rolls?
Yeah.
Cookies or rolls?
What was the favorite things the family wanted you to make?
Probably make buns.
Hot rolls.
Hot roll.
Hot rolls. And we have her recipe in her handwriting. All of us have a copy of. And sugar cookies.
So it's like they fight over the sugar cookies.
When you go to her house, there was a coffee can full of sugar cookies. Always.
And we
And,
got to bring what was home
yeah,
left.
yeah. And her hot rolls.
But my hands won't
She
work
can't.
now. Can't do nothing.
Yeah. Well, you had, it's time to let somebody else do it. I know it's hard, but, and my daughter would
I
go
love to
in
cook.
and
Do you?
before the rolls go in the oven, she likes that yeast spread.
Mhm.
She would go in and sneak
Make
one.
angel food cake.
Yeah.
Did you make angel food cake?
Yeah, I made angel food cake.
Takes a lot of egg whites, doesn't it? Or if I'm getting my cakes messed up. No, that's angel.
And I guess the next thing would be definitely fried pies.
Her favorite cake is cinnamon.
That was so.
Oh, yeah.
Fried pies.
Yeah, we used to fry pies.
Wonder how many you have made.
Oh, I don't know.
Thousands.
Yeah,
They will literally hide them from each
Yeah,
other. when
we
she
do.
was
We have
back.
we count. Her husband and I, we like apricot. She and my husband like the apple, and she likes them all. And
Because
So-
I make about a dozen of apples and a dozen of
Oh,
apricots.
at least.
She used to dry them.
Dried apples
Yes.
and dried apricots.
And she dried the apples. Now apricots we don't have here. She has to buy them, but she uses her dried apples and cooks them up, reconstitutes them, and makes the pastry, and yeah, fries them in the skillet and an iron skillet.
I think we'll hang
Yeah,
around a little while.
That's a southern thing to do. I've never heard of it till I moved here.
Fried pies.
Oh, I love
You
fried
know,
pies.
Oh, you're
Apple.
hey,
I
they're
wish she was
wonderful.
able to make
Apple's
some.
my favorite.
I've had them, but
Yeah, we had apple tree and I dried my own apples and
Now her niece that makes them.
I put them on my, take
She
the
started baking them.
piece of a sheet and put, we had a
Because of
cellar
her
and
cholesterol,
had
yeah.
a door
They're
or
nice,
come
good.
down, straight down and go down in it. And then we had a top on that, on that top. And I'd take my apples, I'd peel them, take them out there and put them on top of that where the sun could keep dry 'em. And,
I didn't have no dehydrator.
and then I'd fry apples at pies. But I had to buy my
Green
apricots. I had always fry apples, dried apples, and then the apricot fried pies.
Should be.
But I didn't have the apricots. I bought them, but I dried nearly all my apples.
Yeah, there's a sack still in the freezer.
One
Mom
Sunday.
used to- My mom was the one that showed me how to dry apples and all, because she dried a lot of apples. Her favorite pie was fried apples.
One Sunday, preacher got a little long-winded, and we were having a family gathering, so the hot rolls were on the counter and ready to go in the oven. And of course he could take a joke, but anyway, she whipped him up one side and down the other. She said, "I guess you know my rolls are out on the floor probably." Sure enough, they'd rolled over. They hadn't hit the floor, but they'd rolled out of that pan. They'd risen. And so she said, if my bread's ruined, you're going to be in trouble. He said, "Does that mean I don't get to come eat any?" No. But anyway.
Sunday lunch was a big deal. Sunday dinner was a big deal. Sundays after church.
Were Sunday dinners a big deal?
Sunday.
Uh-huh. When you were growing up, and then
No, we would have dinners on the ground, and I mean on the ground. They take tablecloths and spread out on the ground and put their bed there. Didn't have tables to put them on.
no, we didn't get together as much as she would have liked. It wasn't an every Sunday thing.
They take their tablecloths and just spread them out on the ground there in the churchyard, and they wouldn't do that now.
No. That was good fellowship, wasn't it?
How often did they do that?
Second Sunday. Oh, you mean when she was little? Did they do that every Sunday?
Hmm.
Every Sunday?
No, just a big. It'd be during the big meetings. We had
Oh.
meetings. It was
Revival.
usually when they'd have about sometimes a 2 weeks meeting,
Yeah.
and on the Sundays we'd have dinner on the ground, but hardly ever have dinner out. Because we didn't have no tables or anything to put them on.
Do you want? Brenda has some quilts she'd like to show you if y'all have time. And a couple of them are called friendship quilts. Do you want her to explain that now? Or
Yeah, let's go ahead.
would you explain to them? We're going to look at your friendship quilts. Would you tell them how you got a friendship quilt? How did you get a friendship quilt?
Well, everybody would cut out a pattern and give to all your friends to make a piece of block, and you cut the pattern and give to them. And they would cut a piece of your block and then
They'd embroider their name on it.
embroider their name on it.
And then did they just bring them back to you, or did you guys get together to piece it?
No, they bring them to me.
Uh-huh.
That's usually at church where we change. But you cut a pattern.
Yeah.
You do.
You cut the pattern and give them the pattern that you want.
Whether
And
it's
then
square or
they,
triangle or...
They'll piece it and then embroider their name on it.
So you got to
The
pick your
center of
colors.
it, you'd have the first piece run from one corner to the other, and that's where you put that big piece come across there. Then they'd put their name on it.
Yeah.
They'd piece a block and put their name on it.
Okay. When other people were doing that for you, were you fixing a block for somebody else?
If they won't give me a
If they
pattern,
gave you a pattern, a block, yeah. So, a lot of the ladies in the community had them.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty pretty.
I don't know if we want to go to the living room or...
I will just twist it. Oop, wrong one. Let's stick around and take a look.
Might go over that chair there, Brenda. No, don't fall down this time. I'll tell you that story. We went to the newspaper.
Orange. You don't see too much with orange in quilts these days.
Is that right?
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah, it's pretty. See, where's your name? Is your name on here? Would your name be on here?
She's
I
gonna
think-
be.
I don't,
There's Carl, so she will be. I was
Leroy's
looking.
down below.
Daddy's down there.
Leroy.
That's her son.
And
I don't think I put my
That's.
name.
Oh, did you not? That's her mother, apparently, Mrs.
Oh, that's
Al-
you. That's you right there, Grandma.
Oh, I couldn't.
This
Mrs.
is my
Here's
aunt
you.
here.
Mrs. Mattie Brooks. I am that loved of life. John 6:48.
Oh, okay.
Here's Leroy.
There's Mildred. Now, so this is the one your mother should be.
There's
No,
No?
No,
Is it
it's
the
the
other
other
one?
one.
Oh, okay.
because this is the one that's got Grandma.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's this.
That's pretty.
Other one.
Yeah, here's Emma.
this is my aunt.
Minnie.
That was my sister-in-law.
Can't really
Is it
see
too
that
much
one.
light?
No,
Ruby.
it's Gets its own
That's her
line.
sister-in-law's sister.
Here's Pearl.
This is my
There's
cousin.
Aunt.
So you were related to most of these.
A lot of them she was.
Yeah.
Either related, like Opal, here, is that Opal Wilson? That's her sister-in-law before they married.
Almost says Oval.
Oh, I thought it said Opal.
It's surely Opal, but Ophelia Brooks.
And Icy.
Ophelia is Grandpa's sister.
Who's Icy Williams, Grandma? Who was Icy Williams?
It was Opal's aunt.
Oh, okay.
This is going away to church.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
There's Irene McGehee, which is Grandma's sister.
yeah. Jewel, her niece.
Jewel, no.
Our cousin.
Jewel's her
cousin. Now see, and some people
Georgia Copeland is her aunt.
I guess without thinking, you need something that really, because this is Minnie
Minnie West.
Welch. Welch.
Welch, okay.
I don't know who that is.
It's, I think
But it
was
doesn't
somebody
really
in
show
the-
up, I guess you
This
weren't
is
looking
my aunt, but there's some of them that this girl, women we went to church with.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the women at church, that's what.
What
she
did you
told
do
me
to the
before.
backside? Just kind of what they call stitch in a ditch. Stitch in a ditch. Stitch around the edges
No,
of the.
these were definitely hand stitched,
Yeah.
hand quilted. And I started to say, do you want me to
I
get the
know
other
this.
one out?
Now, who is Ophelia Brooks?
Ophelia is Grandpa Carl's sister.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
What was her real? What'd she go by?
Tiny.
Okay. I've never heard of Ophelia. And it says pray without ceasing. So sometimes ceasing they would put
Now
scripture on.
here's the second one another one that she did.
You want to
No,
take
I'm
it?
just gonna
Oh,
move it out of her.
yeah.
This way.
Now this one is the one that's got mother on it.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Use it as a yes and Laverne.
Uh,
We'll want to get that out next year when Laverne and them come.
uh-huh.
It's thin. This doesn't,
Well,
it doesn't
she
have
uses it
bad.
more as a tablecloth.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
here's
and there's, I started to say, I'm reading upside down and I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh,
good
Maddie's here.
yeah, there's Maddie, and then she's got
There's her sister,
husband.
Irene.
Mhm.
Alto, yeah,
Yeah,
that's her
that's her.
daddy.
Uh-huh.
Be
And this is me, was married.
J.E.
Mhm.
Her,
This is my daughter.
yeah, there's her daughter,
Mildred.
Mildred.
Where's your mom? Here's Laverne.
Okay, I think the mother should be pretty
And
close.
there's Pearl Harrison. There's Ben.
So
Okay.
there's
Now-
my grandma, Laverne.
My mother-in-law, Brenda's mother, Juanita, when she and Leroy married, they lived right across the road from Mattie. And this is Juanita's dad, Ben,
This-
and mother,
Yeah.
Ethel. And
Your
then
parents.
her sister, Berlene, and her sister, Bernice. And then
Here- oh,
here's
sorry, there's
Juanita
mother.
Watts. See, that was before she and Mattie's son married.
And
This is
there's
my mom up here, and this is my
Mother-in-law.
mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
and then see her daddy and her father-in-law.
That's why my things definitely had it on different settings.
Oh.
Now they'll come out.
Well,
So that's a friendship clip.
That's a friendship. Okay.
had you seen a friendship? Did you know what a friendship
Have you-
it was?
Or what do they call it at other places? That's what they.
I've seen more of them, which is a patchwork, and they put their names
Oh,
on it more than they give them a pattern. I like the pattern
yeah.
idea better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, something you
Get-
do in your club.
And you get to pick the fabric that you
Yeah.
want it to
Yeah.
come back in. That's very pretty.
Let me go outside and I'll get those others in.
Yes,
Because I
sir.
think there's a double wedding ring in
This
there.
was Juanita Watts.
Yes, that's what we were showing her before. And then here's her sister Irene, and then there's Irene's daughter Laverne.
Now here is,
Here's Pearl Harrison. Now this was your closest neighbor, wasn't it? Pearl was your closest neighbor, wasn't she? I mean, other than,
Her
These are some
husband
that's
is
not.
neighbor.
She
yeah,
didn't quilt.
she lived just
She
down the road from
quilt
me.
tops.
Now what is this? Grandma, what are these here? E-M-C, S-M-C. Who's that MC? Let me turn it around here so you
Yeah,
see.
I don't know.
Yeah, who were those people?
Somebody just put the initials.
Yeah,
Almost like
Mac something. Not the McWilliamses, would it?
No.
Who would, do you remember, Juanita? E. Mac, S. Mac, and D. Mac.
No, but it wasn't for Matt Williams. It's
They,
'cause they didn't
they
live.
would have lived in that area back then. I didn't know how long they'd had that land.
Oh, not that long.
L. Mac. See, I'm not from here, so I'm still learning all these things. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. M. N. Crawford. Crawford.
Another, if you want, okay, Randy, if you want. There's no rhyme or reason that the way I had these that I've incorporated. The only things we need to make sure that we keep the friendship quilts in this one deal.
Thank you for showing us these. Thank you for showing us these. They're very pretty. Thank you.
There somewhere.
There.
Where are you
And I
headed?
did